Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Minions of the Zoo. I am not Skep, but to make it feel like such, let me make a little bit of a change here. See if I can find it. Oh, no, I can't even find it. Which means I will need to, I'll just switch to Perspiro over here. And so we are pretty much just flying by the seat of our pants here. And so something came up with Skep, and so he is not going to be able to make it tonight. So I am kind of just taking things over for now. Let's see, Ranting, if you're available, you want to just jump on in here? Hey, Badger, how's it going? I actually don't have squat to talk about. It is... Other than my dogs are losing their absolute mind in trying to maintain their composure for the fireworks. Yeah, other than that, it's been a pretty good day. I got quite a bit of cleaning done. Yeah, that's pretty much been my day. Wife and stepdaughter are out watching fireworks. They have a pretty big setup somewhere in town, and they're still trying to get things underway there. Let's see here. I may end up having a couple of content strikes if you can hear the music in the background. I have it to where the content claims, rather. Music doesn't really get copyright strike unless it's a block, which Terry and Della Hayes can tell you about. And those were the good old days. Gotta say, I do appreciate the smell of gunpowder, at least with in regards to the fireworks. Even some bullets. Shooting is a new thing for me now, but I do appreciate. I do appreciate the smell of gunpowder. Let's see if I can get this shielded out a bit here. So I'm sure that people do have people who are subscribed can at least pull that up here. Let me get the shield out a bit. Yeah, which means if you can hear the music in the background, then YouTube can hear the music in the background, and that's where the content's going to come from. Yeah, the majority of them are like, I've been into Japanese music at the time. Hey, how's it going?
What up, bro?
Oh, not much. Just kind of throwing things together last minute. So
I guess Harry had other things to do,
well, it would have been...
or is it Skep?
would have been Skep's. He had to cancel at the last minute, and so I offered to set something up for him. He didn't reply, so I took it as consent. Which, nice. I mean, isn't necessarily the way it goes, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, I just made a reply to the Military Arms channel that probably doesn't make much sense to some people because I'm slightly inebriated, but I don't care. I'm not even tagging him on the tweet because I don't give a shit enough.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's his whole "I'm ditching the 5.56." So it's not just to him; it's also to some of the comments in there. I was like, "Oh, I'm slightly bored. Let's see what's going on here."
Yeah, so I'm kind of just throwing stuff together. Can you hear anything in the background besides possible explosions?
Hold on a second. Let me.
So I have it turned down, but it's not quiet.
I can hear a little bit, but it just sounds like regular background noise.
Okay. Yeah, I have Spotify playing in the background to help the animals with their firework fears.
Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes.
It doesn't help that the next door neighbors are like firing them off, and they've got the shotgun sounding fireworks. So it's like,
Oh, the good old mortars.
yeah, He'll come. Then he'll come out, and then he's like, everything in the clear. All of a sudden, it's like pop, and then he'll just run away again. It's like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I gotta love that. That's like, since it's almost 1 a.m. here, I'm glad that it seems like the majority of them have decided to say, okay, we're done with fireworks for the night.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen like that here, but it's hit and miss. Sometimes, and it's rare. I mean, not too rare, but some neighborhoods will have fireworks going off till like 3 a.m.
Plus, also plausibly other things, because they fire high into the sky because the rent is not so high.
Not so much that, because that apparently doesn't have an effect here. Not like that. I don't know if you saw the video. It was circulating on Twitter quite a bit last week. Gentleman was dancing and firing off random shots in the air at an angle.
No, the last ones I've necessarily seen on Twitter, and that whole thing is typically the fuckers that are driving, and then there's someone out the passenger seat just shooting, typically like a Glock with an extended mag on it. For I don't know what reason.
Ads. No, it's absolutely ridiculous that people do these things, and it's like that bullet's going to hit something.
Oh yeah.
But I guess that's the point. I don't care. Like, yeah, you would if it was like a family member that got picked off.
Oh yeah, because like, you gotta remember what goes. It's not like the martial arts guy who does the jokes of like, if you fire straight up, it just leaves the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Like, he makes jokes of that. It's like, if it goes up, it's gonna come back down.
It's gonna hit something.
Oh yeah.
But no, I am actually, speaking of guns, I am one step closer away from getting my gun, the Hellcat Pro. Named that for reasons.
Nice. I've been in the toss-up of going to one of the local gun shops that's technically a dealer and looking at either getting it's the number 2 top action, or it's a top break and a 38 special, because the hardened would be nice, but it's also like $1,500 MSRP and only in a 45 Colt. And 45 Colt is a bitch to find and expensive as all hell.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a guy here. I've noticed there's a couple guys here actually. There's one near Dillon. He was actually featured on the show how the states got their shapes, which was
Mhm.
on the History Channel like way back when.
Yeah.
And he's out of Dillon, and he sells parts for long rifles
Hmm.
that you can put together.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
he's like, well, can't isn't it illegal to do this? He's like, if they're fully assembled, yes. And you'd look up at the part of his property. He's got feds looking over his shoulder, like just watching the property. He's like, it's perfectly legal to uh,
There.
sell the
I can
parts.
switch over to this and
It's-
say start cam, but then switch over to this one. So that should come up shortly for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at this revolver. I don't know if it's necessarily a double action, but it's a 38 special. That one will probably cost me like, I think like 1,200, 1,300 most likely. Or, well, I'd love this because it'll give me my top break one that I want, the Wild Bill. Would love this for how sexy the Harden looks, but dude, finding 45 Colt that doesn't cost like $50 to $60 for a box of 20 to maybe 25 is a bitch and a half.
Oh yeah.
But it looks so goddamn sexy with that case hardened frame. I mean, granted, the Wild Bill looks also sexy with that case hardened frame, and it's only potentially going to cost me plausibly $1,000. So tomorrow, before I go to work, I'm going to try to stop at the dealer that has them or that I'm aware of to make sure that they are, and then get a quote on a couple of those. Plus, I'm kind of thinking about going with this one. Just if only they made it in a 357 Magnum.
Enter a chance to win a 1911 operator. I don't think so.
And stop cam.
Let's see if I can find this bad boy.
Badger, I'd probably say, depending on the gen that you have for the G20, I'd just say keep the G20. You can find more accessories for it. Plus, if you don't just want to use the 10 millimeter barrel, you can go online. I think Wolf Arms has it, but it's a conversion 40 Smith & Wesson barrel. You need to carry nothing else over. You can keep the same recoil spring, the same mags, because the 40 Smith & Wesson is just a shortened 10 millimeter. And you don't have to worry about having to clean the chamber near as much. Like, I would say keep the 10 millimeter in the Glock just because you can find stuff easier for it. That's a personal opinion.
Here's the bad boy I'm looking at, minus the sight. Although, if they have the sight on there,
Shield SMSs aren't so bad, but honestly, a Hollow Sun or even like a Sig Romeo is better. And if you look at the extended portion that comes, the finger extension that they have for the regular Hellcats, you can use it on the Hellcat Pro Mags, and you still get like a 1 or 2 round extension.
nice.
I mean, granted, the Hellcat itself isn't a bad gun. I still wouldn't mind getting a Hellcat RPD to where it has the threaded barrel that already has the compensator on it.
I saw that one. That's also on here. Let's see if I can find that.
But the only way I would want that is without the safety, because my current carry has been going back and forth between my SIG 365.
Oh, this is SP. Let's see. Handguns. Hellcat series. Now, the reason why I liked the Hellcat Pro over the Hellcat is the Hellcat actually, it doesn't feel like I have a small hand, but it's not so small Like,
So you have more closer to medium-sized hands.
yeah, like.
See, I tend to have longer fingers than most because technically I wear large gloves, but usually my fingers are longer than regular large gloves are.
Yeah.
And the Hellcat itself is not bad. You just have to understand that you're going to have to deal with potentially pinching your hand a little bit. But I mean, dude, you're talking to the person that my current carry for the past like 2 weeks has been a Ruger LCP Max.
Let's see if I can find here. Here's the one, the RDP. I think it's the one you were talking about.
Yes. They don't have anything for that for the Pro yet, which would be what I'd want.
Yeah. What I like from the Pro over the regular though is that you can actually get a longer grip, and so like when I'm holding, I haven't fired it before, but when I hold it, it feels like it's only like in 3/4 of my hand, and it feels like if I were to fire it, it would just jump out, and I don't like that discomfort being there.
See, and I will say that because of the finger, if you add the finger extension or like a pure script finger extension, it's not near as bad as you think. And this is coming from a person who owns a 365, a straight up just SIG 365. If I didn't have the finger extension on it, honestly, the Pierce finger extension, I wouldn't want it. And this is also the same person who on the 365X, which is the same frame as the 365 XL, has an extension on it as well. Because, shit, do I have pictures of that?
By the way, how's it going, Costin?
Hey, what's up, Costin? I'm on, like, second stream.
But there was, before we bought the gun that we have, which is a Security 9, just regular old.
Oh, not a bad gun at all. I fucking love Ruger.
It's a good first gun. I'll
Is,
definitely say that.
That is the manufacturer I own the most of, technically. Yeah, I don't have a picture of my my 365X. I'll have to take some pictures and send them to you at some point. But yeah, I would still say don't necessarily discount the regular ones with the features, but I completely understand the reason of going with the Pro over that. Because like before I bought a 365, I had bought a 365X. I just happened to come across the 365 used.
I'm not the one that's late. I'm just carrying the torch for Skep tonight.
Yes, bud, because I cut my stream early just to make sure I wouldn't overlap these guys.
Yeah, I noticed that something was up. I'm just like, are you going? Like,
yeah, because like my whole thing is I do a carry rotation most often, and since it's closer to summer, I really like the Ruger LCP Max because with the Hive grip, I think I get 11 plus 1, but typically even with the extended mag, it's a 12 plus 1. And it's just slightly wider than the LCP2, which makes it super nice. Plus, it has a front night sight with replaceable sights.
I think what I really liked about one of the big selling points for me with the Hellcat Pro, though, is I think it's 15 plus 1.
Yes, the Pro is a 15 plus 1.
And I'm like, well, and then like the Hellcat regular is I think 13 plus 1.
The Hellcat regular, I want to say with the flush mag is a 10. Okay, yeah, no, the flush mag is an 11 plus 1. The extended is a 13 plus 1.
Yeah.
Plus, they do have the options to be able to use the 15 plus 1 mags.
Yeah, 11 plus 1.
Yeah, because my regular 365 is a 10 plus one, and the XL, or my X, which is the in between of the X and the XL, it's the XL frame with the standard 365 slide, is a 12 plus one standard.
And if you don't think that I am going to get a laser pointer, you are out of your mind. I will absolutely get a laser pointer on my.
Depending on what you go with, if you're going to do that, you have the choice between the Streamlight TLR6 or the TLR7, which will run you anywhere from, I think, about $80 to, I think it's 140 on Amazon, and you still have plenty of holster options. So then I think you, with the TLR6, you can get a light, and I think they might have one of those that's a light laser combo. I'm a big advocate of the light over the laser.
Yeah, there's the couple that I looked at. One had a red dot sight in there, and the other one had the laser pointer, the laser sight.
Oh yeah, because
And I'm like,
with the Pro, it has the cutout, so you can put an optic on.
yeah,
And I think the Shield SMSC is the same profile or cutout for like the Hollow Sun. I think it's like the 507C or whatnot. Because at least with whatever you're going to use on there, like if it comes with the Shield arms, you'll get the standard co-witness without having to have suppressor height sights like I have on my G43X frame with the G43 slide.
hey, Frosted Spud, you guys want in on this since we're chatting? And it is hard to not bet at the light, but
Well,
it's about safety. So
the fun part is with the G43, G43X thing is I bought a kind of custom used G43X that had a cool, it was like the tequila rose from some Black Rose or whatever thing, I can't remember. Then I bought a custom G43 that was cut for a red dot, and I couldn't hit fucking shit with it really well. So I swapped the slides on them, and I do exponentially better with the red dot on the G43X frame.
we're on. I guess wherever you want to go for it. If it's a laser, you can't blow up Alderaan. Not yet. Whichever. We're going to be in the StreamYard, so it's not like a... Let's see what I got here. Oh, either or. Okay, I see. I got you.
Okay, so
Still trying to...
that. Yeah, we'll browse there. Go back to back to here. Boop. There we go.
Okay, that's fine. No, this is kind of just thrown together at the last minute. I'm not planning on going in too much longer because I still need to go get ready for work tomorrow. So, but yeah, just making sure that. Oh, and which means I can't. Oh, wrong button.
Yeah, because how my G43 originally, when I got the TLR6 for it, go back over to here, say this. That's how it looked.
I've kind of got things blocked off.
Yeah, because you're changing your
Yeah.
things. Once you're done changing your avatar, you can see it. And then I'll show you how it looks now once you're done.
You.
Gotta have your Skep Pespero. Skep Cat.
Yeah. There's really no pun I could do with Skeps at all. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
How's it going, Spud?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks yourselves.
not bad.
Keeping out of trouble.
For the most part.
The trick is always have a scapegoat.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Then here was the G43X by itself.
And what brand is that?
Oh, it's it's Glock.
Ah, this guy's that looks like a Glock.
Yeah, they're both Glocks. But okay, now that I've got that one done, browse. All right. Where are you? Okay, there we go.
I thought firing a 38 would be like I could shoot this thing at max distance and I can hit the target just fine. No.
All depends.
Like,
it's one of those things. It depends on barrel length, its side. Because I've got my, I think it's my 639. I could take I think it was like a 14 by 14 inch steel target, and I could hit that at 25 with it with a sub 2-inch barrel. But okay, since you saw those two, this is what I did to them. I swapped the slides and the light. And I may actually end up just taking off the fucking sights entirely so I can do that, because suppressor height sights are a bitch.
See, I know nothing about the boomsticks because English, so we're not allowed to play with them.
Well, you can. It just takes a hell of a fucking effort from everything I've read. Like, it's easier to go with like a double barrel shotgun, whether it be an over and under or side by side, and it's still a bitch and a half.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I'm going to say the only weapon I fired was a 2.2 air rifle. So, yeah, I know it doesn't count. Don't laugh. Again, English. I prefer the bow and arrow myself.
Are we talking about an air rifle that takes like a CO2 cartridge, or almost like the
Spring.
Oh, Spring's like a break action BB gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's close enough in my opinion, because my dad recently took out a woodchuck with a pellet gun that, I mean, granted, he had to put 3 rounds into it, but...
All right, one moment. I'll be right back.
Okay. I mean, granted, I think he took it out with the first, but still, he ended up putting 3 in its dome, and it's a single-shot break action pellet gun.
Yeah, where you've got to kind of snap it in half at the...
Yeah.
Yeah. And, yeah, so...
Oh, I also, because of what he had gotten when me and my brother were younger, exponentially younger, we're talking 20 years at least, so actually probably closer to 30 since I'm almost 37. We had one of those ones to where you actually had to click the thing on the side of it, and it was almost like a side break action, but you didn't have to move anything on the barrel. There was an action that moved the entirety of the bolt on the side, but yeah, we've bought a break action since then.
Right, okay, I'm not sure with that one. I take it I'm trying to picture it.
I'll see if I can find one real quick.
Yeah, because that, like I say, I know very little about guns. Apart from you point the pointy end at what you want to shoot, and that's about it.
I mean, all I can say is I know that this thing was like a fucking Chinese knockoff or some shit from way fucking back when. So I don't even think, from what I can see, it's like you can't even fucking find these bastards.
Really?
Yeah, everything I'm seeing looking online, it's always the break action of the barrel. So probably not side break. Let's look at side charge.
See, I always preferred bow and arrow anyway.
I still want to get better with a bow and arrow.
Because there's just something about it. Don't get me wrong, I never went hunting with a bow and arrow or nothing, but it was always just target shooting, but it was just so much fun.
Oh, totally agree. Like, I want to do more. And yes, Badger, I would love to get a good Schofield reproduction, but you don't want to go in the actual Schofield caliber, because if you thought 45 Colt was expensive, you're getting into reloads, brother. But
Oh,
yeah, with the
by the way, happy 4th of July to you.
it's the 5th already, but thank you.
Yeah. It's all right. We're taking your independence back. We've decided you can't be trusted.
But yeah, the bow is always nice, and there's still so many different options you can go on that one. There's like the mild recurve bows that you can get nowadays that you can actually remove the arms if you want to change shit on. I don't know what not. There's also obviously the compound bow. One of these days, I still want to go through the process of making a bow from start to finish in the old like Native American style.
I have a recurve bow myself.
There's the modern recurve bows where it's like you can just replace the recurve portion.
The recurve that I have, actually, my dad taught me how to fire it, and I had a moment where I could have shot someone with an arrow.
Damn.
Because I lost it. I lost the arrow, so I have no idea where it went. He had a target set up for me, and my dad was one of those ones where like racism jokes were prevalent because he knew I was a native kid, and he is not. So he's like, okay, so we'll take you out back. We'll teach you how to fire this bow and arrow. And I grabbed it. He goes, okay, you got it. And it was one with a hand, like a leather hand strap, and a hook.
I've used those.
So yeah, pull the hook, pulled it out, I had the arrow set.
Oh man, you had
and
the
then
hook.
he goes over my shoulder and he goes, hi-ya-ya-ya, hi-ya-ya. I lost my mind. Like I lifted the bow because I was gonna like not fire it off. I was just gonna like release this, like pull the string back, and the string just goes. So the arrow is just up and away. Like
So you actually had like a release for the thing. It wasn't just your fingers holding the bow or the string.
It was a hook and my fingers kind of like held it, and then so you kind of just let it all go at once.
Yeah, basically the hook clips onto the string and you're holding the hook.
Yeah, because like I've had those ones where you have the release, so it clips on. It's almost like a trigger in a way to do that.
Yeah.
Like the original way I learned to use a bow, which I should have stayed with just to
Two fingers.
Oh yeah, it was the 2 to 3 fingers with just the leather glove that covered those 2 to 3 fingers to fucking pull back.
The glove? Oh, you wimp.
Dude, I was like 8.
Yeah. How old do you think I was?
Fuck if I know.
If you skin your fingers, then it just teaches you to move them quicker.
Look,
I think I was 7 when I
needed my hand still because my brother, who's 4 years older than me, I still had to fight occasionally, so I needed to make sure I was there.
Why? What were you doing? Slapping him? When you're fighting, you fold your hands up, fists.
Well, because occasionally I wasn't always balling the fist because I was grabbing at him because I was a bastard. Well, technically I'm a bastard by definition, and I knew quite a few of his weaknesses, so I exploited that. It usually meant that I got the shit kicked out of me, even worse than I should have, but hey,
yeah,
it was fucking worth it.
Small victories.
See, I haven't got any brothers. I grew up with 2 sisters, which is even worse because they don't fight fair.
See, technically, I do have another brother and an actual sister that I've never met.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know the typical thing of the woman with like 3 kids from 3 different dads?
Yeah.
We're a little different. Like my mother has 2 kids from 2 different dads. My father technically has 3 kids from 3 different women.
I'm saying nothing.
Oh, we all
Um,
know he was kind of, well, he was kind of a manho. Supposedly with the daughter, which would be the middle of all of us, that was an almost marriage. The other goes into a story I'm not gonna get online because that's some shit that just would have it takes a much longer explanation and shit that's his story to tell and not technically mine. So I
yeah.
try not to get too into it.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. I completely understand. And see, I was the middle child as well, so that's why I turned out to be a little cunt.
Oh, the funny part is most people try to give me shit because I'm the youngest of all of them. And they're like, "Oh, you must be the baby." It's like, actually, or it's like you must have been treated so much better. It's like, actually, no, because
That's
my
lies.
mother, well, my mother also went through a shitty divorce. Her her ex-husband had a drug and alcohol problem, which my brother also had a drug and alcohol problem. Now, his father and then his grandfather technically had a alcohol problem until he had a bleeding ulcer and stopped drinking. His father had a drug and alcohol problem until he had a bleeding ulcer and then started just drinking at home. My brother had a drug and alcohol problem until it ended up laying him in prison, and he doesn't anymore since he's gotten out, obviously.
Yeah, because apparently drugs and alcohol are
But
dead easy to get hold of in prison.
there were definitely issues amongst the father side of the family in that whole thing. So because of that, my mother did a lot of shit to protect him, not realizing she wasn't necessarily treating us exactly fairly, and I tended to get the brunt of it because, you know,
You were little.
I was little. I wasn't the one who had to deal with the bullshit.
Yeah.
Now, I will still, to this day, and this has nothing to do with any of that, bring up that the funniest punishment my brother and I ever got was because we weren't picking up our toys and shit. My dad took every single toy we had except for 10 Green Army men.
Okay.
And the rule was if you ask for anything back, you can add at minimum a week to it. So we didn't ask. And we put away those 10 green men. And like 6 months later, my mother finally asked my dad, "Hey, are you going to give them their stuff back?" My dad legitimately looked my mom dead in the face and went, "What are you talking about?"
Holy shit.
He forgot that he took it from us. So he had to go and find where he put the stuff in. So like we still talk about this shit to this day, like that whole thing. It's like I look back at it and I can't do anything but laugh, like at the fact that one of the times my brother tried to, he wanted to take a toy I had, but he knew he just couldn't take it. So he tried to make another toy seem more interesting, and then when he tried to take the toy I had in my hand, and it's back in like the late 80s, early 90s, all I said, screams technically, was no, and then hits him with a Tonka truck.
Oh shit. Oh fuck. 'Cause I had several of those. I had one of the. I mean, it was big to me, but it was sort of normal sized. Obviously, bigger than a.
We had the I want to say it's like a foot by a foot by like 8 to 10 inches. So that's fuck my math is all sorts of shitty. So
No, I think, and it was a dump truck with the
Yes.
lifting back.
yeah, I actually used to be able to sit in that bastard.
Right, I was a chunky kid, so I wasn't able to. But yeah,
one of the funniest stories of that was a somehow playing the driveway of where we played. A bee's nest fell out of the tree and somehow hit my brother just perfect to where it fell into his pants. This boy takes off like a bat out of hell. My parents are trying to strip clothes off him, got him in the shower and everything. And at one point, one of them looks out, and I used to be allergic to like bees and mosquitoes and all that shit. Like I swelled up to where I couldn't see if I got stung between the eyes.
Jesus.
I'm just sitting there, quite literally, sitting in the back of a Tonka truck dump truck, and the bees are flying around me, just leaving me the hell alone.
Weird.
Holy.
When I was a kid, my dad was a logger, and so he would, whenever there was like a spare logs that he had, he would bring them along, and then those would be what we could cut up and have for firewood. And we had one in the back, and what I did not know is that there was a wasp nest that fell out of the bush that was there, and so they're like, screw it, we'll just build it into the ground. And there was a rather large, like, I think I was like 6 at the time, 6 or 7, and there was a rather large. It was about the size of me at that age, and so I was like, yeah, I could do this, and so I gave it the old 300 boot, and I rolled it over the wasp nest, and so the next thing I know, like, there was just a cloud of wasps just around the area, and I'm just, swatting. I'm just like, I can't move because, like, I can't see.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I know, I see a wasp, like, just dead set in front of me, and it hits me right in the eye. I had my eye closed, fortunately, so it went in, like, that little fleshy part between the eyeball and where the skull is, and I got stung about 27 other times.
Oof. Jesus.
And my dad came in, picked me up like a mobster hitting the founding a briefcase, and just like threw me in the house. I put a hoodie. It was middle of the summer. I put a hoodie on, and I did not come out for anything. Like,
yeah, that's it. That's me done for the summer. I'm staying there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything else can sit and spin for all I care.
Yeah. See, my dad was a wagon driver. Arctics, what you'd call tractors, tractor trailers, trucks. Still remembering it sticks out in my head. I was about 6 years old. Hang on. Right, and I was helping him roping and sheeting a load. Where you put a tarp over it and then rope it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's it? He says, right, you pull on that. I'm going to go around the other side and tie it up. Right, and there's me. I'd have been about 5 or 6, swinging off this bloody rope trying to pull it taut. And I'm giving it everything, just about bursting. And then my dad walks up and one-handed pulls, just without even looking at it sort of thing, just pulls 2 foot out of it. And it's like, bloody hell. And I sort of, when you see something happen and it's like, but I was doing all of that, and it just made me chuckle. But when you look back at it,
Yeah.
it wasn't particularly funny, but it was just one of them things that stick out in your mind.
Oh, that's like pissing off insects with fireworks, especially like yellow jackets.
What yellow jackets?
Yellow jackets are like a bee in a way, but they're almost like a mix between like a bee and a wasp. And
Their cunts regardless.
Yeah, the clothesline at my parents' house is tubular in that whole thing. So they would always put a nest in there. So I found a way of basically taking like an M80 or an M80 type thing, and I would put it on the end light it, and then take like a hammer or a stick or something and whack it in there so it'd push it up to the nest, and then it'd launch the fucking nest out.
Jeez, you were a little bastard.
Yeah, I don't even deny it. There was the reason why that for the longest time, like if I or my brother walked out with a pellet gun or a BB gun, you didn't even hear birds.
Yeah, because they saw you coming and gave it toes.
Yep.
See, you don't want. Oh,
They come
sorry,
back
go
now
on.
because we don't fuck with the birds and that whole thing. But yeah, we were a little pain in the asses. I don't even deny it.
So
See, I was never that big on sort of killing things. You know. It was. I mean, it wasn't. And then I was never. I don't know. I was a little cunt, but I wasn't a cunt in that way. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like I admit that I was a little fucking prick when it came to a lot of things.
Yeah. I think you are, and then just you chill out as you get older.
Oh, like the funny part is like again talking with my folks and whatnot, and hearing the conversation, like hearing how they had conversations of how they thought I was going to go to prison, yet I'm the one who ended up spending 12 years in the military.
Yeah, you're the one that kept yourself out of trouble.
Oh, yeah, because like I was an asshole, but it's like I did mellow out, and I gave myself an outlet. I didn't go out and break other people's stuff. I just vented vocally, or just said fuck it and went and broke shit in the woods. Because if I break trees and branches and shit, no one's gonna care.
Yeah, and that's it. It's learning those coping strategies. You know, or finding somebody to kick the snot out of that's not going to bubble you up to the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there would have been people that I probably could have done like this, like younger Fight Club, or had the scrap with, where that's all it was a scrap.
Yeah.
It probably would have been similar but different.
See,
That's like I couldn't help but give tear shit over the last stream, or not the last stream, his midnight show stream. I was like, dude, you should be thanking the affirmative action, because if it weren't for that, my dad would have been a cop, and who knows, I might have been the one arresting your ass. I couldn't help. We don't live anywhere near each other, but I still could not help but make that joke.
Yeah. Well, what's it? Do you go on Pat's stream at all?
I have been before, but I work second shift East Coast, so I'm typically at work anytime he's starting those.
Yeah, because what's it? I'm last stream or the stream before, the conversation got onto dad jokes for some reason, and I asked, you know, with him and Bloody are both being black, how they related to dad jokes. Because of it was funny at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, so...
That's the wrong button.
I still like the dad joke I thought of, to where I actually told this to a couple coworkers and went out and made sure I was on like a step or a ledge. I was like, you know, I've come to the realization that someone my age, you know, the fact that I'm like 37, almost 37, it's like if I'm going to tell dad jokes, I should be telling them while standing on like a ledge or some steps, because I'm more likely to be telling stepdad jokes.
Get out.
Oh, that was one of the fun parts. Like when I told that one, I think we had Jack Gunsky on. He's just like,
yeah. See, and I like what Frosted does with the corner, you know, with the having sort of the rolling guests there, because they do seem to like the main crowd seem to bounce off each other really well.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them articles make me cry.
Oh God, there have been some of the others that I would definitely like stop and like shut up. I have to go out in a tirade and I'm gonna release the brakes and we're not stopping until we reach the scene of the accident.
And that's why he does it.
Oh God, yeah. I think who was it? Because he did. Who was it that was on? Because it was one of the guests, and he had one of the guests just going absolutely ham on one particular article.
That doesn't narrow it down because that's quite a few.
Typically.
Yeah.
That could be Johnny, maybe Jack Cochran, highly plausible Ranting Monkey.
I'll be honest,
even
I've
Camel
heard.
probably.
Yeah, I've heard Monkey on there, and he generally, because it's somebody else's house, he doesn't shit on the carpet. You know?
Yeah.
He tends to keep it reined in a bit.
Yeah, I don't know how many times like Jack Gunsky has gone off, or even Moonshock on Frosted Streams.
It must have been Gunsky. In fact, I think it was, and I've
Most of the time it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are actually getting at that time. I'm gonna have to call it because
not a problem.
But yeah, just a short thing we put together here for Skep to get us that time. But thanks everyone for showing up. Thanks guys for jumping on in here at the last minute.
Appreciate you having me, Skep Cat.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed, Skepcat. You're a scholar and a gentleman.
I try to be, or at least I try to act like I am. But with that, the zoo is closed. Have a good night, everyone.
Laters.
Good night.